I'm going to be using some leftover wood, whatever I had on hand that would suit the project. I've got some hickory flooring. On one side, it's got these little runs in there, and then on the little grooves, and then on this side it's just flat. So this will be what the outside of the stuff will be, and then this will be shown towards the inside. I've got 3 or 4 boards of it, so I'll have enough to do it. One of the first things you need to do is figure out how big your spray paint cans are to let you have all the room. And I've already figured out that they're a 3-inch gap would suit just fine for the depth. And then they are 8 inches tall. So I've already went ahead and sort of laid out my my kind of plan. I've figured out that my board, each one for the sides, need to be 25 inches long. So I've already marked out one for the right side and then one for the left side, and I'm going to go ahead and get those cut. One of the extra steps that I've got to take, because I'm using this flooring, is I've got to actually get rid of the ton and the groove off of this. If you didn't care about how it looked, you could just go ahead and slap it together and just, hang it up on the wall and just leave the little ton and groove. Or if you went ahead and just got dimensional lumber from like the lumber store and it was like a 1x6, you wouldn't have to deal with this. But because I'm using the flooring, I've got to go ahead and get rid of it, and I'll be using a hand plane to shave that down. Thanks for staying tuned with me. I don't know what happened. Most of the footage has been just disappeared. I don't know where it went. I got all the shelf had been built and went to go upload it, and the footage wasn't there. So I'm gonna kind of get you up to speed on how I was doing it, so that you can keep on building it. Here you can see I have a dado and a rabbit on the top and bottom, and I actually have a cove on the very front of this shelf, and I've got the top has been cut out with a coping saw. I'm going to show you though real quick how I did the dado, the rabbit, and then the cove shape on the front. If you can notice that this is all smooth right here in the front, and it is also smooth on this back side. Now this was reclaimed flooring from a house, and it had this ton on it, and it's also got a groove on the back. To get the shelf built, I actually had to hand plane this all smooth. So that's what we're going to get done first. Now after you've gotten your ton and your groove cut off, the next step that we're going to be doing is making the slots for the dado and the rabbit joint. And that I'll be using a mallet, chisel, and just a handsaw. First thing you're going to want to do is make your marks for where you're going to have the shelves. I knew that I wanted a 9-inch area in between the two shelves, so my base is 3/4 inches thick, so my top shelf starts at 9 3/4, and that's where you just draw your marks, and then you got to take a marking gauge or just your pencil and get how deep you actually want the dado to be, and you just take it and score it, and that's how deep you'll make your cut after you've done your lines. Alright, I've gotten both lines cut out, and with my setup I've just got like a backer board, and then I'll just take a chisel and I actually just go ahead and chisel out the waist by putting my chisel just above the line wherever I marked it, and just tapping it across, and it'll clean it right up. Okay, now after you've gotten your dado cut out, you just can do test fits. Mine's going to be a little bit wider because I didn't measure it out. A good way to measure it is just by putting the extra board on there and then marking on both sides. You can do that to make for your spot. But I just went ahead and drew 2 lines. You want a nice tight fit though, and you can cut for your rabbit. You can do it the exact same way. Or once you cut this line right here, you can just cut down from the end grain going in there, and then remove that waste. As you can see, my shelves stick out the front a little bit, and I did this so I could put an edge on there, and I left the groove in on the back. It wouldn't hurt for the looks of it. You won't be able to see it. And I just wanted to make it have a decorative edge on the front. You can make any kind of edge you want using a router. I did mine using this molding plane right here. It is a Cove molding plane, so I think it turned out pretty well. I had a little bit of tear out, but nothing too terrible. Like I said before, I'm sorry that I didn't get to show you the footage of actually building the shelf. Something happened to the footage. I don't know what happened. But I hope that by demonstrating what I had done, I hope it helps you guys out in hopefully getting your own shelves built for this coming year. Like I said, you can do all this stuff with power tools like table saw, router, scroll saw, and you can achieve the same stuff, but I wanted to put a little twist on it and show you guys how it's done with hand tools. It's not finished yet though. This is only part 1. I still got to put the back on, and I think I'm going to add a French cleat on the back of it. But you guys haven't seen how I attach the shelves yet, so that's the last clip, and enjoy it, and thanks. One thing that I did realize on the other side is that the hickory wood is very, very tough. So, and it bent a couple of my finishing nails. So what I'm going to be doing before I actually nail it all together is pre-drilling each hole so that the nails go in easier and it doesn't bend the nails. Thanks for joining me for part 1 of the build on this shelf. I hope you guys are learning a little bit how to make the dados and rabbits by hand. You can easily do it with a table saw or circular saw even. I'm kind of trying to lean towards more hand tools so that it kind of opens up to everybody. And this is just out of scrap wood, so there's nothing special. Part 2 will consist of attaching the brace along the back. We're going to be doing a French cleat system to hang on the wall, which will make it fit flush, so that it won't have any gaps behind the shelves. That's why I don't have a back on it. And we'll get the bungee cords attached to the holes when we drill them. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and check me out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/asliceofwood. I'm also on Twitter. You guys can catch me there. But look out for part 2 coming up later this week.